gas chromatography, generally we prefer to separate the volatile compounds. Volatile compounds like methanol, ethanol, are components of petroleum that cannot be separated by HPLC or paper chromatography or TLC or other techniques are concerned. So we need to have a gas chromatography. As the terminology indicates, here gas is a mobile phase. Based on the mobile phase, these are being divided. In liquid chromatography, liquid is a mobile phase, whereas in gas chromatography, gas is the mobile phase in this case. And here there are two words: carrier and mobile phase. Carrier will carry the molecules. Generally, it is going to be the inert. There's a argon, helium. They will be inert and they will be carrying the molecule. And here there will be another one which is called as mobile phase. We'll be using different gases in gas chromatography. So the basic things that you should be aware. So the carrier just it takes on the phase molecules, and this mobile phase will separate based on their biophysical properties of whatever the molecule that is there. And it is also useful in flaming. Hydrogen is required in flaming along with air in the atmosphere. So yeah, gas chromatography is the chromatography techniques that can be used to separate volatile organic compounds, and it should have a mobile phase, that is the organic sorry, this mobile gaseous state. Injection port must be there, like as usual in like in your HPLC. Separation column must be there. This is the stationary phase. And oven, you have to maintain higher temperature. Even in case of your HPLC, we will be maintaining the column in oven because the elutions are taking place at different temperatures. If you want to maintain the higher temperature, then whatever the column is there in animation you have seen, you will be keeping that column in an oven where by heating the oven we can maintain the temperature of column. Here also the same. Here it is a must and should, because you have to operate a GC at very high temperatures. So this oven should be maintained at very high temperatures. And a detector followed here, whatever your molecules are there, they will be separated based on the mobile phase and stationary phase interactions, and they will enter into the detector, and the detector will send the information or signal that it has acquired to the recorder. And the basic setup, if you can take, there will be a gas pipe, and there's a gas, and you will be having a double walls, double time you need to check that one. Gas cylinders, this is the native pressure of gas will be pressure checked over here, and this is the flow line pressure will be checked. And then there will be a tubing. There will be, these are what is this, 1 second. Here there will be a ball kind of thing which will be regulating the flow of gases, and the gas will enter into the column. This is the column which is maintained in the oven, and here the molecules get separated based on their properties, physico-chemical properties. They will be separated, and once they are separated, now it will enter into the detector. This is the detector, and after entering into the detector, some sort of signal is produced, electrochemical signal or absorbance signal, or change in there's a conductivity or change in optical density. Some sort of signal is created, and that signal is acquired by the computer system, in fact inbuilt software, and that will you will be getting in the form of chromatograms. And these are the different HPLCs. In fact, in microbiology department, OE campus, we are having very 2020 GC 2020, which is a very high and sophisticated. I think this is the 2020 sophisticated GC. And here organic compounds, like as usual, common partition behavior. Based on the partition behavior, the compounds that you are going to separate. In petrol, if you take the crude petrol, you are having a lot of organic molecules in volatile compounds in that one: hydrocarbons, oleins, paraffins. Several compounds are there. So these compounds, they will be having different attractions toward the stationary phase and mobile phase. So they will be partitioned. Just it will be divided into someone which are very close to the stationary phase, or which are very having good affinity towards the stationary phase, and something having good affinity towards the mobile phase and carrier molecule. Mobile phase actually here the most important thing, and the one which are having the intermediate thing. And mobile phase generally will be using inert gases, helium, argon, and nitrogen. The injection port consists of a rubber septum, and like you have seen in case of vials there in HPLC, here while injection port you will be having a rubber septum. So you are supposed to pierce your needle through it, and then you will be loading the injection. So injection port is maintained at high temperature. So through injection port till the detector point, the entire column is maintained at high temperature. So be careful while handling the thing. And since the partition behavior is dependent on the temperature, the separation column is usually contained thermostat controlled oven. Whatever the oven is there, you need to maintain a fixed temperature here. Okay. And sometimes the stationary phase is even liquid. Stationary phase, not the supporting phase. In the column, you will be having some liquid which is having high boiling point. Sometimes here mobile phase is as usual gas. See, if the stationary phase is solid, it is solid liquid, solid gas chromatography. But if you have, there are some cases even in GC will be using the liquid as a stationary phase, like some paraffins, oleins which are having high boiling point will be overlaying inside the column. So what happens? There will be interaction in between the gaseous phase and this liquid phase. So we'll be using their liquid gas chromatography, and this is the oven where the column is installed. You can see the capillary type, very fine column, this spot, and it measures high distance. A lot. It is going to be very big. If you take it out, it will be very big. And generally, columns are two types: capillary columns and packed columns. And this capillary columns, you will be having very tiny diameter. They are very small in diameter, but the length is going to be very high. And here there will be a thermostat which maintains the temperature. So whatever your desired temperature that you can maintain in case of your oven. And here the biomolecules, whatever the volatile molecules, they pass through the detector, through the column, and they get separated based on their partition properties. Like the one which is having high affinity towards some molecules which are having high affinity towards the stationary phase will remain at the back. The molecules which are having high affinity towards the mobile phase will be moving fast. So the one which comes fast will be going to the detector fast, and its peak will be reflected over here. And then next, the intermediate one. So the molecules, whatever the mixture that you are taking, they will be separated inside the column based on their affinity, or they based on their partition in column. So if you separate just the gases molecule, if you take the atmospheric gas and if you try to separate, like you will be getting the band cell or something. Hydrogen will be eluted fast, and oxygen will be eluted later, and nitrogen and methane. If you see, methane is more hydrophobic, so it will be binding tight, and hydrogen will not be having, because it will be going fast. Its molecular weight is also less, and it is not much hydrophobic, because as the carbon number increases, basic organic chemistry, as the carbon number increases, its hydrophobicity will be increased. And columns, as I told you, two types of columns are there. Sometimes I'll show you those columns also: packed columns and capillary columns. Basically, packed columns are outside stainless steel, and it could be up to 1 to 5 meters length, and diameter is around that's 5 millimeters inner diameter. That's what, and filled with a stationary phase, or a packing coated with the stationary phase. And in case of capillary, it is thin and fused with silica. Inside, it is completely fused. There is no central lumina. Like in packed columns, you will be having a lumina. So larger samples can be loaded in packed columns, whereas in case of capillary columns, very little amount of, basically capillary columns will be using for analytical purpose only. In some cases, whenever you are looking for recovery, we can go for the packed columns. And typically it is 10 to 100 millimeter, there's meters, 10 to 100 meters excuse me, length, and 250 microns inner diameter. It's a very thin dia, whereas length is very high. And stationary phase coated in the inner surface, but it is a very it is a fused kind of thing. So you don't have a separate lumen inside. There will be some what you call small space, what you call that porous structure is there, but there is no lumina. In packed columns, you will be having a lumina. If you see, open the column, and if you see complete lumina, small hole will be appearing over there. Provides much higher separation efficiency in case of this capillary columns, because it is very long. What you call, your resolution is going to be very high. Compounds can be easily separated into individual entities. But packed columns, generally, as the column size is small, so initial separation may not be good for packed columns. Whereas after doing the analysis, after knowing the retention time, it is better to go with the packed columns. So detectors. So column will do separation. We'll be doing the injection. So the carrier and mobile phase will be taking your sample into column. Column will be separating based on their properties. Then it will go into the detector. We'll be having different types of detectors. Yeah, different types of detectors are there. Few are thermal control detectors are there, and flame ionized detectors are there. Different types of in case of HPLC, very often we'll be using there's a UV absorption spectra. There's a UV absorption detectors. That is a very common. But here we'll be using different types of detectors, like atomic emission detectors, any like atomic charges will be collected, and chemiluminescence detector, electron capture detectors, flame photometric detectors. This flame photometric detectors is very common, and mass spectrophotometers and photoionization detectors. We have some elaboration of this one, and I think the animation is there. This electron control detectors, whenever the molecule is going through once it comes out, once it is eluted from the column, it will be passing through a cell where the electron beams will be continuously passing on it. Once the electrons are passed on it, what happens here? Normal, if it is not a polar one, its voltage will be the same thing. But if some molecule comes into the cell which is having a polar nature, then what happened? That electrons, this polar molecule will release its electrons, and this whatever the electron coming from the nickel will be added to this one, so the current potential will be increased. This is very common and very frequently being used flame ionization detector. Here in flame ionization detectors, what happens? The column will separate the biomolecule or whatever the volatile molecules. Once it is coming out from the column, it will enter into the flaming chamber. In flaming chamber will be there will be a flame created with the help of hydrogen and the oxygen that is coming from the air. These two are being supplied, so that what happens here, the whatever the molecules are there, they will be charred or they will be flamed up. Once it is flamed, what happened, it will be breaking down into organic molecules. A larger molecules will be broken down into smaller molecules, and these whatever the small molecules or ions, they will be collected based on their properties on the electron. So see on both the sides here, you can see here, this is one, this is the one. These are the two electrodes which are trapped here, and these electrodes, see if it is the cathode, what happens here, cathode will be collecting the positive charge elements, and here anode will be collecting the negatively charged elements from this one. So this information, whatever it is collected, the information, it will be passed to the system, and system, you will be having a preloaded information. If this much molecular weight, this much charge, if it is coming on negative charge, this is the molecule, like that. It is a preloaded library will be there. In GC, you will be having a preloaded library. So based on, you will be comparing your data with the preloaded library to identify the molecule. And if it is for quantitation, anyhow, you know that what is the molecule that you are passing through. You know what is the molecule that you are passing through. So what you will be doing here, you will be measuring its area, how much area it has been acquired. Then you will be quantitating the molecule. And the next MS detectors, what happens here, the molecules which are eluted, the molecules are compounds which are separated through the column, they enters into the separation chamber, into the breaking chamber here, the breaking chamber. So what happened, it will be broken down into small pieces, and the detector identifies based upon the, that is a mass to charge ratio. It will be identifying mass to charge ratio, and even for this also we will be having the libraries, and based on the libraries we will be detecting what is the compound in it. So this is about gas chromatography. Anyhow, we'll see that principle again in animation.
Gas chromatography, GC, is a common type of chromatography used in analytical chemistry for separating and analyzing compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. In gas chromatography, there is a mobile phase which is a carrier gas, such as helium, nitrogen and argon. And there is stationary phase, called a column, which located in an oven where the temperature of the gas can be controlled. There is also a detector that measures analytes in a gas stream attached to the GC system. The flame ionization detector is almost universally employed, where the flame commonly is generated with hydrogen and air. The autosampler provides the means to introduce a sample automatically into the inlets. Also, manual insertion of the sample is possible. The column inlet, or injector, is attached to the column head and provides the means to introduce a sample into a continuous flow of carrier gas. In the injector, a sample is introduced into a heated chamber via a syringe through a septum. The heat facilitates volatilization of the sample and sample matrix. The carrier gas then either sweeps the entirety, splitless mode, or a portion, split mode, of the sample into the column. In split mode, a part of the sample carrier gas mixture in the injection chamber is exhausted through the split vent. In splitless mode, all the sample carrier gas mixture in the injection chamber is transported through the column. Two types of columns used in GC: packed column, where the stationary phase is coated directly in the column, and capillary column, where the stationary phase is coated with the inner wall of the column. The mixture separation is based on differential partitioning of the components between the mobile and stationary phases. The component which has less affinity to the stationary phase, consequently less interaction, travels faster and eluted out first. And the component which has more affinity to the stationary phase, consequently more interaction, travels slower and eluted later. In addition, other factors influence the separation of the components, such as column temperature, carrier gas flow rate, column length, and amount of material injected. As compounds elute from the column, they interact with the detector. Different types of detectors can be used, such as the flame ionization detector, thermal conductivity detector, and mass spectrometer detector. The operation of the flame ionization detector is based on the detection of ions formed during combustion of organic compounds in a flame, which generated by hydrogen and air. To detect these ions, two electrodes are used to provide a potential difference. The positive electrode doubles as the nozzle head where the flame is produced. The other, negative electrode is positioned above the flame. When an organic compound is mixed within the hydrogen flame, mainly carbon ions are generated. And a current is produced between the electrodes proportionally to the amount of organic compound present. This current is measured with an electrometer, amplified into proper voltage, and fed into an integrator. The manner in which the final data is displayed is based on the computer and software. The number of peaks present can indicate how many components are in the mixture. Usually, the x-axis of the gas chromatogram shows the amount of time taken for the analytes to pass through the column and reach the FID detector. Typically, the y-axis, or the area of the peak, is a reflection of the amount of a specific analyte that's present.
Now we'll see a GC, one particular GC, and we'll explain the components of GC, then we'll go for with operations. Here detailed operation has been explained in case of GC, how to quantitate with a standard graph, how to construct and how to find out the unknown concentrations are explained. This is a typical GC, and there will be a gas connection. Generally it should be there on the back side of the GC. Otherwise, if it is possible, you can have the gases in the back room also. If the spacing is arranged at an industrial level, generally there will be a piping in between the backside room and the GC room, where they will be keeping at industries multiple GCs are arranged within a single room. Almost 6-7 GCs are kept in one single room. So in such cases, generally fermentation will be measuring methanol in Pichia pasteuris will be inducing, there's a AOX gene is being induced with methanol. So methanol concentration, if exceeds more than 1%, it is toxic. So the cells will die. So during the fermentation, we have to measure the methanol continuously. So for every hour, several batches will be going on. We are supposed to collect the samples, and we are supposed to keep on whenever you are doing the induction. Every sometimes if it is a uncontrolled process, for every minute we are supposed to collect the sample and we need to check the methanol content. Or in case of pharma company, for various process developments will be going on over there. So you need to collect different intermediate compounds of formulation and you need to do the analysis. So it is the best, but normal laboratories, academic things, will be having a gas, there's a connections at the back side, and in the front will be having a GC. You can see both the things here. And there is a port here. This is the injection port. It is going to be very hot. We should not touch. And this is a column oven. And you can see this is the column. And this is the capillary column, not packed column. We'll see. I'll show you the packed column also. And there will be a central fan which will be circulating the heat uniformly. Air is a bad conductor of heat. So that just if you are allowing, uniform temperature may not be coming. And this goes to the detector. And this is the packed column. You can see that is 100 meters almost. This is going to be hardly 1 meter or 2 meters. But the lumina is going to be larger in case of packed columns. And see, this is the gas pipes, cylinders. These are the gas cylinders. And this is a helium. These are color coded. For each gas, we should be very much thorough with the gas coding. And these are the pressure gases. And detector, there will be a detector. And this is a flame ionization detector. Here, it causes burning of your compound, so that whatever the ions are created, that will be having a charge, and that charge will be identified by cathode and anode detectors, these two. And whatever that signal comes, that will be processed into electronic signal, and that will go to the computer. And these are, see, before operation, we all, it is in fact before starting and we after, before closing, it is a must that you should check the gas cylinders. And in the whenever you are starting, first you check the pressure and make it on. So we are igniting the FID detector. And this is the this syringe. We'll be taking very little amount in this case, and it is a capillary. 10 microliters is a max whenever you are doing with capillary. In packed, you can go a bit higher, but here we'll be going with 0.2 microns only. And this is a bit older version. See, after you need to pierce into, see, you are supposed to start here, but latest versions, as soon as you enter into the septum, already the system starts. But this is the one, after loading the sample, you are supposed to start over there. So this is the method. I have told you in case of HPLC how to develop a method. You need to select the parameters, all those things. But GC is a bit easy than that of HPLC. Here method is not much difficult like your HPLC. See here, this detector is detecting the retention time. I'll show you once. Report, let me see. Yeah. Here generally in the earlier one you have seen the peaks, and this is the retention time. One particular peak is coming at 1.047 minutes, and its area is a total see one second. Yeah, this area, this is called as baseline. So if you seal with the baseline, so you want to take only from here. So the area which is occupied in this chromatogram, this is individual is called as chromatogram. This area, whatever the space that has been occupied in between these, in between the baseline to the chromatogram is called as area. And area is directly proportional to the concentration of your compound. More the compound, see here, methanol has come with very little area, whereas methyl benzene has come with very larger area. So methyl benzene is there in the larger quantity. So you need to run the standards. You need to run with the standard concentrations of compounds, and after running that, you will be having a standard graph with you. Then you compare. Then you run the unknown concentration. Then you will be able to, based on the area value, we will be finding the unknown concentrations. That is there anyhow. We have explained. Retention value, it may vary lab to lab, or very like some 5% or 1 or 2%. It may vary because the temperature definitely and the cofactor, the other components which are there along with your samples, they also contributes here. Here the area, again area percentage. See, the first compound methanol is around 11%, 11.76 whatever maybe, and remaining methyl second benzaldehyde, it is 88.7. And this is the height, how much it is going. This is how we calculate. Now the printed, you can get a printed report, and we can report the compounds here, because already we know that what are the compounds that we have passed into it: methyl benzaldehyde and methane. This is how we report in GC. And subsequently we'll be loading. See here, fixed quantity. And these are the modern, we have auto sampler. Here in this case, you can see the auto sampler and auto injector. What is auto sampler and what is auto injector? In this case, manual loading is not required. It will take by its own, that is auto sampling. And it will see, this is auto sampler, it is taking the sample from the tube, and it is auto sampler, and now it will see, it will load into the HP, that's a GC machine. That's what it is called as auto injector. See, now this is the one industrial presentation. This is a GC facility of industry where they have multiple GCs in that one, and they will be doing one GC, there's the analysis of one compound, and that doing the standard analysis also. We'll see this part. These are all GCs. And these are the standard and unknown samples. This is a waste. This is acetone rinsing, and like our control, and ethyl benzene, that is the standard, and micro syringe you require, and you need to load fixed concentration in this case. And this is a GC 2014. This is a model, and that is a sample injection port, and the carrier gases will be there at the back, and temperature regulated chambered, and this is it is automated. It is a software based one. It is the same software we have used with us also. We are having the same thing. Machine model is different, but the software is the same thing. So first we need always, what we'll do, we'll run the control. We need to wash the column, and we need to rinse your syringe for some time. Generally 3 times we'll rinse the syringe. So before doing all these things, you need to set up your software. So in softwares, you will be giving the information, how much sample is being loaded, what is the column, and what is the column temperature, what is the detector, and what is the baseline. Baseline also, see, with acetone we are creating the baseline without sample, and because your sample is mixed in the acetone control, generally we call it as. So whenever you are calculating the area, we will minus this background from the original value. So we took the sample, and this is a sample injection port, and it is going to be hot, so we should be very careful on it, because the temperature is around 300 degrees Celsius. For GC, we require bit experience to see. As soon as you have loaded over there, immediately it will acquire the method to start. It will acquire, and see, it has acquired. It has the whatever your method that you have given to it. It will immediately start. This is the beauty of advanced systems. In earlier case, like we need to start a button, but here we don't have that one. See, the time started over there. As soon as you have pressed the piston, immediately as it will start acquiring the information. So separated molecules, the molecules which are having least affinity towards the stationary phase and having highest affinity towards the mobile phase will migrate. It will be moving fast, and it will be eluted. So one compound has been eluted, and we are testing acetone. So this is the peak of acetone. So let it completely pass. Actually, we should pass 3 columns volume of, it could be HPLC or GC, 3 columns volume of mobile phase you should pass before injecting second sample, so that residues, whatever the compound, immediately as soon as our peak has come, don't go with the loading of second sample. Now enough, the gas has been passed, so then we'll be taking the second sample. hold it carefully, and sample should be injected in a single attempt. So constant volumes, that is very important. Even 0.1 micron, the microliter difference is there, then the area will differ. See now, because the same quantity of acetone has been injected in both the cases, you got the same areas. In fact, if you analyze these two peaks, you'll be getting the same areas. Even for to see your visible eye, you can see both the areas, both the peaks are same. This you should establish. So once sufficient gas has been passed through it, then go for the third sample. Here method is given for a longer time. Generally in GC we don't be having the gradient system like what we discussed in case of HPLC. So this makes, anyhow, as I told you, practice makes man perfect. You have to load some time, till that you will be getting the consistent and the same volume of sample. So the same peaks you should get. If you are not able to load the exact volume of sample, then these peaks areas will differ. The peaks will be up and down, or bit bulge or narrow. So with this one, you can practice, like say how to load the sample into GC. Rest of the things, anyhow, mobile phase, it will do its job. It will separate the molecules and it will bring to the stationary. See, much designing is not there here. Now we can stop because peaks have been acquired. They have come. Now still in acquiring mode. See this red, if you press, the chromatography will be stopped there. So it is stopped now. Now let's see, basically it will do its analysis by its own. It will give you this is the software, analysis software. Actually table has come in earlier version itself. It will see this file will be created, and this file actually you can either increase or decrease its magnification size, and you can get the peaks as well as tables over here in a Word document. See, the peaks are also there. You can get those things, and after getting into the over here, your desired peaks you need to collect, and rest of the things you need to eliminate. See, this is the area. Is it constant or not? You can see it is 74 crores. It is almost constant. Maybe 1% 1 to 2% variation must be there. 1 second, we'll see. You can see here the 3 peaks we got 3 times. These are the areas. Generally area is the a factor that we use for quantitation of your compound. Here you can see that it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10.1. So it is so it is almost I think 1 or 2% variations will be there. So even the expert, if you are doing this kind of possibilities are there, So almost 5% variations are there in this case, so that can be okay. But if it is possible, you try to eliminate even this. There within. Next, we will be going now. The HPLC GC will appear like ready. Now we will be designing another experiment. So we have given a setup. So we'll be going the analysis of ethyl benzene. Once it shows the ready, then only we can load our sample. Just as soon as you load the sample, it will go into the acquiring mode. Acquiring in the sense, it is collecting the data of your run. Unless until you keep it for the acquiring mode, it will not collect the information. And you are supposed to rinse your syringe with your sample that you are going to load before loading, because other earlier samples residues or impurities will be there, that has to be removed. 3 times you are supposed to rinse, and then you take your sample. Here again 1 microliter sample that we are taking. Like HPLC, we don't have a fixed loop here. Yeah. In HPLC, what happened? Excess value, excess will be removed. Now it will go to the ready. It is now it is in the acquiring mode. It is collecting the information. The molecules are being separated based on the partition property of stationary and mobile phase, and biophysical, physicochemical properties of molecules. And so once it gets separated, once it comes to the detector, it will be coming out in the form of peak. So you inject in different concentrations. You prepare different concentrations. Otherwise, different volumes also you can inject, and you compare the area, and you prepare a standard graph like what we do for our protein estimation and other things. So different protein concentrations will be taking, and optical density will be measuring. So here you run with different concentrations of sample, and whatever the area that you are getting, you construct a standard graph, and you run the unknown next. Then you compare unknown area with the standard values, so you will be able to measure what is the quantity of unknown present in your sample. Same thing we apply for even HPLC also. So 3 column volumes. See here, the capillary columns, even though it is 100 meters, I told you it is a fused column. It is not taking much space in between. So it will be hardly like a few ml required to pass 3 times the column. And whereas in packed column, it is, so once it is done, will be, see, these are the chromatograms which are automatically saved in your system. You take it out, and you copy the chromatogram as well as area table. There's a chromatogram as well as, generally in report we are supposed to give both the things. And if any non-specific things are there, you please eliminate. In report, those things should not be there. Like even you take the standard, sometimes mobile phase may be showing, you may be having it out why he is removing that 2 peaks. They are the peaks of mobile phase and non-specific peaks. So we are removing those things. And so in the report, we'll be having a chromatogram with your sample. Next, third sample You are supposed to give the name, and you should give the location where you want to save the report. Oh, now we will be rinsing the micro syringe. Work with patience. Now loading into the GC with micro injection. Now ready mode will go into the standby mode first, then it will go into the acquiring mode. Standby mode already, the gaseous phase started. Acquiring mode, there's the FID detector has been started. Standby is the mobile phase has been started over there working. Chromatography is started, and acquiring mode is the stage where the FID or whatever the detector is there, that is started acquiring the information. There will be a fraction of seconds, few seconds difference is there. So unless and until your chromatography starts, the FID will not start, the detector will not start. So these actually, the scale is there on the left side. Based on the adjustment of the scale, these peaks will be small or large. But the thing is, area will be the same thing whether it is a larger or smaller with respect to the compound present in it. I think here, for your understanding, the area is that the scale has been kept constant. Let it run for 3 volumes of column wash. 3 volumes in the sense, whatever the gas that it occupies in a column, that's much gas into 3 times should pass through it. Even if it is a HPLC, it is the same thing. Now stop, because sufficient wash has been done. Now we'll calculate the area. So we'll go to the file which has been acquired. This is the file which has been acquired. Now we'll take the chromatogram. See, you can see the fold. You can pick that folder and remove. First, we'll copy the chromatogram image and put it into the report file. This is the one, and this is the non-specific also there. We'll eliminate that one. This is a report area calculation figure. 3 minutes something mobile phase, it could be, generally mobile phase will come fast, so that peak should be eliminated. So that has been removed there. Here the flow rate has been changed. In earlier case it is a 23 ml per minute, and second one is 6 minutes per ml. So you can see in case of first, retention time is less, and in second one retention time has been increased. It's a common thing. If the flow rate is high, then it will be fast eluted. If the flow rate is less, it will be eluted slowly. So we did 24 ml per minute, and then 6 ml per minute. Generally, we'll be using this rinsing, we'll be doing with organic solvent, which we use for the preparation of sample. Whatever your drugs, caffeine, if you are doing caffeine, generally whatever the compound DMSO or methanol will be suspending. So you are supposed to rinse your syringe, and control test also you should do with the same solvent. So we'll be taking 1 microliter again. Report we'll see once the entire process has been completed. Now it has gone into acquiring stage. part. Sample, see, sample A, sample B, sample C we are doing, and sample A is one compound, sample B is one, and sample C is having both the things. We are doing here acetone plus benzaldehyde, I think, methyl benzaldehyde. So you got both the peaks, and retention times we'll see. Actually, GC is a bit faster than that of HPLC because of high flow and high temperatures are maintained. So we'll wind up the process very fast. See, a single run will be of around 10 minutes, or hardly this, whatever we did is of 10 minutes, I think. So we'll take the report page, we'll go to there and we'll copy the chromatogram and we'll put it in the result. And we'll take the we'll copy the table also, and we'll remove the non-specific things. That was for mobile phase, which is generally eluted in the beginning, and generally so this is the report that we are taking a print. Just I will show you.
Gas chromatography.
One second, I'll stop here. Yeah, still Shyam Prakash. You can see here, cannot go up and down. We did analysis of individual components and we did the analysis of mixture. When you do the analysis of mixture, generally retention time will be because of interaction of one molecule with another molecule, there may be a little deviation, little bit deviation may be possible. Here you can see acetone is eluted at 4.483 minutes. 4.43 minutes, whereas when you are taking as a mixture, it got at 4.311. So because of when there are many macromolecules over there, there will be a interaction. So you need not to worry like the same retention time RT value, but if it is bit around 1 to 2%, if it is having deviation, we can accept and we can consider the same molecule. So this is how we identify, we run the gas chromatography and we'll identify the molecules as well as we'll quantitate those molecules. Identification, qualitative is concerned, we know standard RT values are there. Standard RT values are there for the compound, and we'll be running the unknown, and if the same RT value with 1 or 2% deviations are coming, that is to qualitative identification of that compound. If area you are measuring, and if you are if we are comparing in the standard graph, then we'll be quantitatively you are measuring the compound which has been separated by the